Hello everyone, this is Rajesh Dwivedi and I am here with my new PowerPoint video soil degradation, soil erosion and soil conservation. First of all, the soil degradation. When we talk about the soil degradation, it is a worldwide problem uh, and it shows a decreasing change in the physical, chemical, and biological health of soil quality. When uh, due to wrong use of the soil, what happened that the quality of soil degraded, and it can be the loss of organic matter, decline in soil fertility, adverse changes in salinity, etc. Means when the soil degrade, there is the loss of organic matter, there is decline in soil fertility, and we find uh, unproportionate amount of presence of salt in the soil, and it is not the high population density but which determined this soil degradation, but how the population use the soil, that actually determine the soil degradation. Generally it is believed that high density areas soil degrade very easily. It's not like that, whether it is the high density or the sparse population, depend on the people how they are using the soil. Now then comes the soil erosion. It is the process of denudation, that means the removal of topsoil cover by water, wind, and human activities. Uh, when due to this, these are the three actually the erosional agents. Okay, the natural agents are water and wind. Okay, and the human being is the new. Uh, you can say that the elements of erosional agents. Now, what happened? The soil erosion, this makes land unsuitable for cultivation. It causes environmental degradation and may affect the people health. Uh, because what we see that man when he do the faulty agriculture or releases excess amount of pollution, this makes land unsuitable for cultivation, and it causes you can say that imbalance in ecosystem and also affects the people life. Now we will go through the types of soil erosion. The first one is the seat erosion. This actually causes when water flowing down, means after the rain, during the rain, or even during the rain, we see that when water moves down, uh, uh, means over the slope, it actually carries the top soil over a large area. Such type of this removal of topsoil, that is called seat erosion. Now then comes the real erosion. When the seat erosion goes deep, means when it continue, then what happened that due to continuous runoff, means you can say that the finger shape, uh, means a sort of gap that develops over the land, and which actually remove this soil from that place, so that is called real erosion. And when this real erosion continue, that becomes the gully erosion. Now what is it? Means when the running water along the slope, they cut the soil and make the deep channels, as you can see in the picture. So what happened? uh, Due to this, the large amount of soil is removed by the water which is receding back. Now, so what happened? the land became unfit, and such type of land is called the bad land. Now then we see the wind erosion. uh, when we talk about the wind erosion, it is what? It is actually when the wind moves uh, uh, due to movement and deposition of continuous movement and deposition of wind, loose soil over the top, loose soil particles, they carried by the wind and is from this flat or the sloping lands, and they gets deposited somewhere else. Why these things happens? These things happen because when the land is devoid, that means there is no vegetation and it is well exposed. So naturally, whenever the wind will moves, it will cause the wind erosion. Now, uh, when all these moves and such type of movement actually reduce the soil productivity. Then when we see these movements, actually what happened that if the size of the soil particles, if it is between 0 0.1 to 0 0.5 millimeter, and they are moving in the bouncing fashion. So such type of movement of the loose soil is called saltation, and when they are moving in the rolling fashion, that is called the soil creeps. As you can see in the picture, the saltation, it moves in a bouncing way, and creeping is almost parallel to the land. Then comes the human activities. These activities of man, like means uh, bad farming practices, use of chemical fertilizers, overgrazing, defective, wrong way of irrigating the land. All these actually causes the soil erosion. Now, the question comes, why we need to conserve the soil? You see there, uh, actually we need to conserve this soil so that we can prevent first of all the soil erosion. And why? You can just you see the first picture, means the loss of fertile topsoil with its mineral nutrients from the upper surface lead to gradual loss of soil fertility and agricultural productivity. See here the first picture. The top picture is showing the green fertile land, but if we will remove this vegetation, then the second picture which you are seeing, that which where the vegetation is less, due to this what will happen, the fertility of soil will go down, and means productivity that will also become less. Second is lowering of the underground water table and decreasing soil moisture. Now you can see over here that uh, if the water table goes down, so ultimately what will happen, you see the second picture, that if the water table goes down, the top the vegetation at the top, they will suffer because they will not get continuous moisture. Then you see this drying of vegetation and extension of arid lands, if it will remain continue, then it will increase the flood and the drought. Both will come simultaneously. As you can see in the bottom picture, that the area, when it is uh, slowly moving towards becoming the arid land, then what will happen, the bottom two picture of flood and drought, that will become more and more common. And then the last one is silting of river and canal beds, recurrence, that means repetition of landslides. This adversely affect the economic prosperity and cultural development. So, what we see over here, that is uh, due to this silting of the river and canals, and means the continuous landslides, uh, because of the wrong way of uh, carrying the land, uh, it will directly affect our economic prosperity, and we will continuously be at the loss. And this uh, cultural development, there will be no proper development of the culture over there. So now comes, that is the soil conservation. Now, first of all, means when we are preserving and protecting soil and its nutrients, what for? To retain its soil quality and fertility. That is the soil conservation. The first one is the terrace farming. See the first picture. Uh, that is the terrace farming. Now, so what we see over here, that uh, in terrace farming, means it is like small embankments, a sort of steps जो है, uh, जो हम लोग means which we actually create, uh, and along the slope, so that water may not run off very easily. And when water will not run off, so the soil erosion will be less. Then comes the shelter belts. See the middle picture. Yes, the green belts of trees helps in checking the strong winds, especially uh, near the arid land or the desert land, and they actually control this movement of the uh, loose soil particles or the sand from one area to other. Then comes strip croppings. Means here actually we grow uh, crops in the alternate layer, and this is actually done first to check the uh, impact, that means the force of the wind, and second to retain the soil quality also. Now, then comes the bunding. It is what? It is the construction of small bunds, that means the artificial dams. And these artificial dams actually made by the local materials at the different places along the steps, so that what continuous water runoff can be checked. uh, then comes the contour plowing. Generally when the land is slopey, it's when the land is fertile, but the upper topography is slopey, so means there actually we plow the land along the contour uh, in such a way, so that water may not wash off the soil from there. And one thing what we can do is, that is the planting of trees. This is a sort of afforestation, means especially planting along the edges of the field. uh, this will actually helps in retaining the moisture in the soil, uh, increasing the underground water table and fertility of the soil. So what we see over here, that means especially we find that this soil caring can only be done by the human being. So we should be very careful. Hope you like this video.